Hello, and welcome back to Friday Nights with Vibes and Vision. Run by Roll Resolve and Charlene and Vicky. We have got a guest tonight, which we'd like to introduce you to. So I'll say hello to Ewan.
Hello, good evening, everybody. I'm looking forward to being here and sharing some thoughts. It's exciting, yeah. I'm looking forward to it.
So Ewan is the president of Enactus. So we didn't actually tell you a lot about Roll Resolve and Enactus last week. So Enactus is a student-led service.
Yeah, that's for now, for the time
being.
You
should know that.
I was going to say, why don't you let Enactus? Why don't we let Ewan talk about Enactus?
Yeah.
Shall I give it a go?
Yeah.
I'll have a swing at it. Yeah. So Enactus is a student-led service, and we focus on projects that create social impact within our communities that also can be run as businesses. So we have 3 projects at the moment, which 2 of them in the building, and the money project with Daniel, Botso that I run, and then Roll Resolve with you two. So yeah, we look to continue to grow over the coming year, but especially this year in particular. My aims were to really put Enactus on the map and to build on the foundations that hopefully we've laid, and going into next year being more of a well-established society then, potentially, rather than student-led service, but something that people understand rather than what is Enactus, rather than what can Enactus do next.
Yeah,
the questions that we want.
I've definitely smashed it this year. So far.
So far.
Watch
doing
this
a good
space
job.
for the rest of the year. That's all we're going to say.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And yeah, so do you want to tell us a little bit about Botso, and then we'll tell everyone a little bit about Roll Resolve, and then we can tell them about what tonight's going to be, what we're going to be talking about tonight anyway. So
Yeah, exactly. So Botso was something that I kind of first pursued when I came to university. So I grew up in East Yorkshire, surrounded by fields my whole childhood, and that really made me connect with nature quite a lot. So then I came to the university and had a lot of passion towards sustainability and what I could do to improve the city. And thought, well, what's something that hits home right here? And that was student halls, and we had a lot of glass recycling issues. So I went to the university and sort of asked if we could do some things differently to make sure that glass waste in student halls was recycled properly. And that process took quite some time. So I thought, well, what can I do with my own glass waste? And that's when I started creating little home products like plants and candles in my halls of residence, which thankfully my first year flatmates were very understanding as I'm sat there like making candles in the kitchen and starting to burn things, and they were very much understanding and let the mess go.
And didn't you say you use the same pan for food and candles?
Yes, yeah. So for the first couple of weeks I used the same pan for candles as well as my cooking.
I bet they needed a good clean afterwards.
It was quite the process. Yeah. It was an interesting couple of weeks, but as every first year uni student, the diet and the things that we eat are always questionable. So whether there's a little bit of wax in my spaghetti bolognese, we'll never
Nice.
truly know. But I'm pretty sure it was cleaned out beyond.
Either way, you didn't taste it and you're still here, so
No, I'm still
it's a
kicking.
bonus.
Yeah, that's the positive. And it's kind of developed from there. So it was the home products that I was making, and then I thought, well, how can I make bigger and better impacts within my community? And that's where I've started to lean more into candle making sessions where people bring along their glass waste and reimagine and reinvent into something bigger and better. Who doesn't love a candle at home, you know? So,
Yeah.
And the story of making it themselves and having that feeling, people coming together and learning more about the environment and how they can save it.
And we can vouch for them actually, because we've
Yes, we can.
I haven't actually had one yet, but you've had
I've got one.
You've got one, haven't you?
Yeah.
What scent is it now?
Is it Caribbean Crush?
Caribbean Escape, I believe.
Escape,
is the
there
one
we go.
that's on.
So nice.
It's like Caribbean Crush actually sounds like a really good cocktail.
It's a candle though.
No, it's not. It's Caribbean Escape.
Escape,
No, but I said it's a candle though.
I know it's a
No,
candle.
cocktail. You're like, no, it's Caribbean Escape. I get that.
No, you drink the cocktail while you're smelling the candle. Anyway, it smells gorgeous.
Yeah, it is.
Gorgeous.
I liked that
Glad.
one. So yeah, we'll just Roll Resolve. I'll let you talk about Roll Resolve actually.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So Roll Resolve is. I'm going to take you on a journey.
Where are you going to start?
At the beginning.
Okay.
So Vicky and I developed this idea way back October 2023. We both went to
It organically
no.
started in August, didn't it?
It actually
really?
started. Right, so I'm going to summarise this because this could take a while. So it was Vicky's obsession with Vampire Diaries, which is why it all started. We went to a Comic-Con because she wanted to meet Ian Somerhalder, which she did do. And
3 times.
She's lived all her fangirl dreams. Well, no, maybe nearly all of her fangirl dreams. Not all of them. And so we ended up going to another Comic-Con where Ian wasn't there, and shoot through conversations. And because we're actually counselling and psychotherapy students, we were chatting to somebody as actually a publisher, and we were talking about tabletop roleplay. And we just saw that there was a connection between how people play tabletop roleplay and how people navigate therapy. So we saw a way of integrating them both, and this is where Roll Resolve started. So we ran a research project last year where we wrote our own story, integrated elements of therapy into it, and although at the moment we run it therapeutically because we're not qualified until July, yay, the research project was a success, and on the back of that we're actually running the project through an SEND school with groups of 4 boys. We're actually on going into our third session, aren't we? Mm-hmm. So 12 to 14, and again having amazing results. So our plan is to actually, to grow this. We've established.
Well, we've not just grown it, we've also established a different route from the normal tabletop roleplay ones, and we've condensed the rules massively, so we don't have a big book to follow, and we've also adapted it to make it quite friendly to be really inclusive. So being someone with dyslexia, them forms are so overwhelming. I mean, I'm okay with them. I'm not saying that I'm not. I'm not saying anybody else wouldn't be, but when you're playing a game, to keep the focus on the narrative rather than revert back to the book, revert back to the sheet. So we've narrowed everything down, and it seems to be working so far. So it needs a few more adaptations, a few more tweaks, and we're just currently writing our second story, aren't we?
Yeah, we are. Because we're actually getting another group back at the school that we started with who are absolutely incredible. So we need to come up with some new material. So that's forced us prematurely into actually developing a new story.
So this new story is about a village that is under a curse, and they're now under a twilight type fog, and there's all sorts living in the fog, and the mayor has sent a letter out to ask for some brave warriors to come and find the keys that are linked to an artifact, isn't it, that's in the cathedral, but the keys are hidden throughout the village, and every key is nobody can get to it. People have tried and been unsuccessful, and it's very, very intense how they're going to get these keys, but they have to find all the keys in order to release everybody. So when they arrive at the village, the mayor's all like, thank you for coming, you brave warriors, and all the villagers are running in, and they're like, oh my god, they don't know about the mist, and very intense. But yeah, so we'll see how that goes. We've got to develop it further, but we're excited to run it because we've run the other one, Sunstone Valley, quite a few times now, and it's been really good and it served us well.
And the whole reason we're doing it is because, sort of going back to Enactus, is the social impact. It's from a mental health perspective, and although it's therapeutic rather than therapy until we're qualified, it's the benefits it's bringing for the young people, the testimonials we've had with regards to their social connectedness, their confidence, and in and out of the classroom. So it's continuing that work and also upscaling that going forward, and which is one of the reasons why we're running through Enactus, is to showcase how successful it is, but also try and encourage other therapists. We have a few who are already interested to join us and extend its reach.
So it's been really fun so far, hasn't it?
It's absolutely
in a nutshell,
amazing.
It's been fun. It's been exciting.
Yeah.
We've it's been great to take it home as well, to get my own kids involved. My daughter's 8, and she's give us ideas on magic things that we can put in there. She's written a whole story about a mermaid who needs rescuing from a bad shark, which is really cool. And to see her passion with it, and then take it into schools and see kids' passions where they're so creative and we had we've had such a great response, and it's been really nice to see that. So we're really excited to take that further. I'll be starting in a new school as well over the coming weeks. So yeah, it's exciting. So watch this space for more Roll Resolve stuff. But we're going to go back into a couple of songs in a moment, and then we'll be back afterwards to talk all things manifesting, which is what tonight's about. So we believe that Ewan here is he's not really for the manifesting.
I'm not, no.
No, but we are. So join us again shortly, where we'll be talking about all things for and all things against manifesting. Hello and welcome back. So we're going to talk about manifesting tonight. So I'm going to give a little bit of a take on manifesting. So before coming to uni, I actually was obsessed with manifesting. Probably still am a little bit. And I did
A little bit,
yeah, a lot. But I did some law of attraction life coaching courses, and that actually inspired me to come to university to do psychotherapy. So they do sit in line in some places with each other, and I absolutely loved everything about coaching. I keep a gratitude journal. I've got all the journals, literally.
As per our sort of discussion last week, how many do you use?
We don't need to talk about that. Right? I'm a sucker for a good book cover, whether it's a journal or just a book, to be fair. But yeah, manifesting. We'll talk about that.
Okay.
So for me, I would take manifesting as I like to write my goals down. I do my vision board, which still needs doing for this year. I've done my letter this year. So last year I wrote a letter to myself to read this year. So I'm always thinking that far in ahead, and I'm always like the visualization, and I'm always like, you need to feel it and you need to believe it, because I think if you believe it, you're already halfway there. So for me, I think manifesting is really important, and I love everything about it. The Law of Attraction, The Secret, all the books to that. I have read them. And I've actually got another book which is called The Secret Behind the Secret, which is like my Bible, and that tells you how to incorporate it into your life and how to change up phrases. And when I started university, one of the first assignments that I had to pick a topic that I was really interested in, and I had to do it as a speech. I actually did it on the Law of Attraction, and one of the best things for what I started it off with, and it's one of the things that I live by, is that whole, like, if you stub your toe in the morning and then you come downstairs and you forget to put the kettle on, and you're stuck in traffic, and then you're like, oh my god, it's such a bad day. And it's like, well, is it a bad day or is it a bad hour? And I think shifting your mindset heavily sits with that manifesting.
I know, but is that manifesting? It's like, when, and it's right, I actually am for manifesting, but just like what you're saying, sort of doing that, doing the goals, sort of doing the letter, because we talked about it last week, the letter to you, sort of to you in a year's time.
Yeah.
Is that manifesting, or is that, being goal orientated? And that sort of mind frame of stubbing your toe and thinking, right, it's just one of those things.
What I meant by that is, if you'd have stayed in that mindset, you would have manifested a bad day.
Okay.
So if you would then be like, got into this bad mood, you're going to see everything quite negatively. So you're manifesting a bad day, really. So manifesting is bringing it into your existence.
So it ties into mindset then,
yeah,
really,
exactly.
doesn't it?
Yeah, it all is. It's gratitude, it's mindset, it's goals, it's everything. Everything comes into one, and it's manifesting. I keep hitting that microphone, so I'm sorry to anyone listening.
So I asked then the key difference between manifesting and goal setting. Mm-hmm. What would you define as the key differences between the two?
So if you set a goal without an intention, it could just be a goal. It could just be something that you wrote down.
Yeah.
So if you haven't set your mind to it, and you're not actually being really intentional when you set it, you might not achieve it.
I think I would actually add to that, because manifesting is basically believing that you're going to achieve those goals before you actually do. So it's literally fake it till you make it. I think with I'm going to come up with all the corny things, but it is literally being that person, or being whatever you want to achieve before you've actually achieved it. And so you start living you sort of live it into existence.
That. So one thing that really hit home with me, so I listened, I don't know if it was actually The Secret documentary that they did, I can't remember, but there was a guy on it, and he said he wanted to buy a Porsche, and he said he had it in his head from being like a teenager, and he said, and his dad, I'm sure he said it was his dad, took him to like a car showroom, and he got him to sit in this Porsche, and he was like, sit in it, what does it feel like to be sat in a Porsche? Imagine it was yours, imagine you just picked the keys up. He said, and then one day when he was at home, his dad gave him a pillow, and he was like, close your eyes and pretend you're in the Porsche. And he was like, had the cushion doing like this thing with it. And he said, And his dad said, until you can feel it and you can bring that into your existence, that'll make it happen. And his dad gave him that belief that it was going to happen, and then that was one of his first cars that he bought was a Porsche. So I get it, it could be a little bit more of determination.
God, I wish someone had done that for me. My first car was a 1.1 Fiesta.
Go home and get a pillar. Go home, get a pillar, sit on your couch, manifesting. What's wrong with you?
So outside of pretending to be a rock star driving a Porsche, I think manifesting is something. I agree with certain aspects of it.
Yeah.
So the sort of point of view where if you believe it, you can achieve it. I think that's a fantastic mindset to have. But that when you set those goals, I think that's person by person. If you're setting that goal, you're setting that goal to achieve it, or are you setting that goal because you're just trying to? That's what you want, or is that something that you need, for example? So from my perspective, I played a lot of team sport when I was young, and that you're working with a lot of different people and you're working together as a team, and that team's goal might be to win the league, it might be to win a cup, for example, and you train and we work hard. But nobody would go into that game saying, we deserve this league, or this is going to happen to us. We'd have to go out there and we'd have to work hard to achieve that. So I think when you're manifesting and you say, I'm going to get in that Porsche, well, is that manifesting, or is it that the attitude of, I'm going to work hard and make sure that I deserve, I deserve that Porsche. That's something I really want to work towards, because
I think
that's
with manifesting, it does have to come with that hard work as well. And I think manifesting is about the belief that comes with it. So I have this conversation with my son because he plays football, and I've said it to him for years and years, and I'm like, imagine you've scored that goal. Imagine it, or imagine you've got that trophy, and it's like having that belief. I mean, imagine you do get signed for that team, or imagine you do get this, or I don't know, I'm trying to think what else I would say. To my daughter, she gets a bit anxious when she's dancing, and I'm like, but imagine what it'd be like when you've done and how proud you'll feel. And it's like having that concept to be able to look forward and be like, oh, actually, if I do this, this is how it's going to feel. But if you don't have that concept to be able to visualise, then how do you know how to get there? I always see it as like a sat nav. If I put into my sat nav, I'm going shopping, is it going to take me to the shop that I want to go to? But if I put, I don't know why I thought of Matalan, but we'll go with Matalan Derby. It's going to take me to Matalan Derby because it knows the vision of where I'm going. But if I just say Matalan, it's going to take which one's it going to take me to? So if you don't actually know where you're going because you can't visualise it and you can't see it, how can you bring that to you?
It's true.
And
I think so to manifest, it's like people, this is like a misconception, it's like people think that manifesting is just wishing. And so manifesting without, like you say, without having a vision or a direction is literally that. It's like there's got to be action behind. It's like action and intent, really. Yeah. But I suppose it's like that sort of visualising where you want to be and where you want to get to, and how. And it doesn't have to be anything big. So I was thinking, Joey, talking about sort of like playing games and things. Right, this is where mine went to work. So at work, I work with young people who have mental health struggles, and we play a lot of card games. And
I don't know if he was happy about that or not, to be honest.
Depends on the day. Monopoly Deal is very popular, by the way.
Oh, I love Monopoly Deal.
It's amazing. It's so savage.
Yeah.
And it's great because a lot of the young people, as a bare minimum, have social anxiety. And so probably not particularly confident, and really, I suppose, I would say reticent about, sort of they struggle to speak out, and especially in a group environment. And card games really work from that engagement point of view. And it's got to the point where, we'll talk about this, they're just like, I'm going to win today. I'm going to win. And it's like, you manifest that. And it's like, yeah, I'm going to win. And normally they absolutely wipe the floor with everybody. And it's, lots of games it's chance, isn't it? But also with Monopoly Deal, it's a bit more strategy, and it's quite empowering. It's seeing with them and seeing that confidence, and it seems really inconsequential to win a card game, but for them in that
But
moment,
it's a batch of confidence, isn't it,
It
as well,
is.
that comes with
Yeah.
that, because it's like, oh, if I can do this card game,
what
what else can I do? And it's
Now,
like,
I don't know if it's manifesting or
Yeah.
not, but it's like, it's just, you know, when
Having
you
that
talk
belief
about-
within yourself.
Yeah,
I
it
think.
is.
Yeah. So 100% fake confidence is something that I can get behind. So like having that, you know,
I've got
sometimes
fake
you
confidence.
sometimes
It's
you enter
fine.
the room and you get that sort of imposter syndrome. You
Yeah.
know, whether that's it can be anything from a presentation in front of your lecturers to like entering a conference room. You know, for example, within myself, I've entered rooms sometimes and I feel a little bit out of place. I'm like the youngest there, and it's am I meant to be here? Do I deserve to be here? And you've got to go in with that attitude of, well, I'm here for a reason. You know, let's go in with some intent and with some purpose to
Yeah.
pursue what I want to pursue in this room, whatever that is, what aspect of life that you take on. So I can see the two balancing over between manifesting and then having that fake confidence in yourself to be like, well, I'm determined to do it, so therefore I'm going to go and get it, sort of thing. So I can see your balance there.
Yeah.
That
The only-
concept reminds me of
Yeah.
like something that I heard, and it was like, I think it was off a podcast, and they were saying about how they used to worry about walking into a room and thinking, oh my god, what if anybody likes me? And then the mindset flip with that is, well, what if I like them? So now it's like, who cares if they don't like me? That's okay. I'm okay with that. What if I don't like them? And if I don't like them, that's fine too, because we're not here to all particularly like each other. And maybe that is like down to I know that's different from manifesting, but it's like that mindset shift and how that would give you confidence, if that makes sense. So I think it all comes together, doesn't it, really?
I think
Yeah.
it needs manifesting, by the sounds of it, needs the elements of hard working and determination alongside of it. So
100%.
without other elements, manifesting in itself, you know, you can manifest and you can dream, but without the actions behind it, you're not going to get far. Which is where I sometimes think manifesting, if you're manifesting and you're not going to work for it, then you're not going to get.
But
And
if you're
again-
doing all the hard work and you're not manifesting and you're not believing in yourself, is it going to still be a thing? Are you still going to accomplish it?
But it still comes back to mindset, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And this is where mindset goes hand in hand, because, you know, there's so much power in, you know, that belief that you're going to get and achieve your goal and have confidence in yourself. And this is like really contradictory, because, you know, I have all the imposter syndrome and all the self-doubt, but it's balancing that with
So we are the worst two for it, because everyone thinks like we're quite confident because we're quite loud. Say it really quietly. And it's like, when we go to do a presentation, we like have to take, I feel like one of them people that needs something to blow in. Like to like literally get myself together and gather myself. And
That
it's like,
sounds so dodgy.
no, but you know what I mean. Or like a pillar to scream into and just let it all out before we go in.
Bag, you know.
Yeah, I meant the paper bag. I just couldn't think of it. But
I'm really looking forward to the end of year and actors presentations when we're all together about to pitch. I've got
I'll have a bag,
Charlene
she'll have a
screaming,
pillar.
screaming into a pillow and God.
Oh, honestly, absolute wrecks.
You'll have to like calm us down and be like, right,
Yeah.
come on, we'll get yourselves together.
We're having all the Red
But
Bull.
then the hard work in advance, does that not put your mind at ease a little bit?
No.
Does it not? Or does that just make it worse when
I
you're
don't
overthinking
know,
something?
actually.
For us, I'll speak for both of us when I say this. It's more about, we go off on a lot of tangents. Like, as
We know
anybody,
that. Unfortunately, we figured that out.
everybody
We're going
who's
on one
listening-
right now. As we speak, we're going away from manifesting on a tangent.
It's actually a side
Yeah.
quest. So,
Oh, you can't beat a good side quest.
this is what I mean, and we
Yeah.
do it a lot. And I think doing a presentation or a pitch like we have to do, you have to stick to your minutes.
Yeah.
And it's really nerve-wracking to be like, no, we're in a pitch now, and like we have a laugh about it, don't we? Because I say like we've done like a lot of presentations where we've done it together, and like I'll sometimes butt in when Charlene's talking, and she can sometimes talk really slow. And we had this joke, didn't we? And I says to her, I know when Charlene's going off on a side quest, and she could probably tell you things about me when I do it. And she does this with her hand, and she goes, so there's this young person, and I think, oh no, here we go. To rein her back in. She's on one. It's all going downhill from here. Right. So I think doing that together, we've like learned them little things, and it's like anyone watching could be like, oh my god, she's putting it on her, and I'm like, no, because we don't know where that was going.
Well, the thing is, I do with you because you don't have a tell like
No.
the punching of the hand. I mean, that's just to illustrate. It's very passionate at that point in
Yeah,
time.
and it's like,
It's the
Oh,
quick
no.
head turn after I've noticed as well. The sudden.
it's coming.
The sudden for the viewers out there, I can only imagine that was accurate. But that quick head turn of the tangent incoming. We've struggled in like our committee meetings. Sometimes we go on a tangent.
It's supposed to be an hour, and we're there for like
and we're
2,
there for a couple
3
of hours. Yeah,
sometimes.
that's it. But it's all fun, I suppose. And we always go back to the main point. Eventually, it just takes its time. We do
It
go.
does. I don't know if
Which-
it's a value that what we cover in on that journey or not.
Exactly.
Really.
And as fittingly as we do always go back to the main point, let's try and go back to manifesting
And do you
now
know what?
a little bit.
In my head, I've got a quote here. It's not,
Yeah.
well, it's not so much a quote, it's like a bit of a story about Jim Carrey, and I was like, right, on that note, I'm going to bring us back to manifesting. We're talking about what Jim Carrey did. So, I've got it saved. So, Jim Carrey, in 1985, he wrote a cheque to himself for £10 million. And he put this cheque in his wallet, and he visualised himself receiving this amount of money by 1995. And in 1994, he got the part in, I think it was Dumb and Dumber, Dumb and Dumber, where he earned £10 million that he received in 1995. And he puts that down to manifesting, apparently. So I think that's a cool story to like, as a visualisation, to keep that cheque in your pocket. But he said the exact year, 1995, and then that's when he got the money for it, and it was 10 million, bang on.
Yeah, that is really cool, actually.
Yeah.
Is that a testimony to the hard work put in throughout?
But the exact number.
But the exact number. As if the stars were
Yeah,
aligned
like literally.
Right, there's a quote here. Manifestation is the bridge between your dreams and reality.
Yeah. Every time the head turn then on both of us.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
you
my
won't,
response
and
would be: Are you making your dreams reality by the hard work? It's like I'm going to make what others dream my reality.
Yeah.
Is that just a mindset in itself that's something that I will achieve? I will make £10 million in 10 years, or I will become a CEO, or I will drive a Porsche. That's a mindset, or is that manifesting? That's the question.
I think it's both.
I think it's both.
A lovely mix of the two.
Yeah.
'cause I
A
think
nice cocktail.
You've got to have the
achieves results.
mindset that you're going to have. I don't know, that you're going to achieve. Like, I suppose with us, so where it's like drive as well. You've got to have you have the goal, you have the mindset, you have the drive, and I think it's all of those things. And I don't think
It brings us back to the grape goals, doesn't it, which we talked about today.
Yeah.
You gotta love a grape goal. I'd love to know if anyone does a grape goal, by the way. You can still message us at Roll Resolve on Instagram and tell us if you know what a grape goal is. We're going to go to another couple of songs, but when we come back, it'd be really nice if anyone's messaged us to let us know about your grape goals, if you've even done grape goals, or if you even know what grape goals are, and then we can talk about grape goals after the next couple of songs. So we've got a couple of seconds left, so we'll move into that and we'll be back shortly. Hello and welcome back. Well, welcome us back. So we're going to share a few of our own personal stories about manifesting. Ewan's got a really good one and Charlene's got some really interesting things that she'd like to share. So
Have I?
yeah, you just said about your grape goals.
Oh, yeah.
It's literally like 3 seconds ago. Charlene this year is manifesting retention. So we'll move round and then you can come back to me at the end. That's fine.
Okay.
So who would like to start?
Ewan's is
I'll-
a great one.
I'll go.
Great, you sound like the tiger.
Showing our age. Anyway, if anyone knows Frosters, they'll know exactly what we mean. Anyway,
I don't know what you mean, I'm afraid. I'm sorry. I
we're
wish.
showing our age. That's all I'm
Yeah.
saying. That's all I'm saying.
So my story with manifesting, or at least where I've been involved within the story, is I met Alice, my girlfriend, at the beginning of this. Oh, not the beginning of this year, but the New Year's Eve a year ago, and she ate 12 grapes underneath a bench, and this was like manifesting her year of a fantastic year, finding the one for her, etc. So I was, right place, right time. As soon as Alice ate those grapes, there I was, and that's when we spent the rest of the evening together, and therefore ever since
Such a cute
have
story.
spent our time together. So that's one claim for manifesting. Or, from my argument, I knew Alice was going to eat the grapes underneath the bench, and I was there, the right place, right time, because I wanted to spend time with her. I chose to be there rather than Alice manifesting me there.
Or did all just the stars align for it? Just
Or did all the stars align?
Yeah.
I like to believe the stars align because that's
Because it makes it sound far
it's
more magical.
so more
doesn't it?
romantic.
Yeah, it's cute.
Just adding to the rom-com of the whole story.
Yeah, there's definitely a movie in there, isn't there?
Oh,
Like,
yes.
There definitely is. Like
Yes.
Alice on a Grape.
Yeah. Could I star in my own rom-com?
Yeah,
Wow.
she could.
Or
Right.
who would you get to play you?
Oh, what a question.
So cool.
Oh, it's got to be Ryan Reynolds. Has to be.
See, I was going for Timothy Chalamet.
Really?
Yeah,
That's good work.
it's a good. I don't think that's a
Been
good
very
one.
successful as of recent. I loved him in
Yeah.
the Wonka film that he did. I thought that was fantastic.
I hate to say I haven't watched that, but I did watch
No,
it in
me
June.
either.
I watched the last time I saw him was in June too.
I haven't watched the Dune. Well, I started watching the Dunes and I switched it off. But that's controversial. So I won't go into it. It was too much for me. I was so confused as to what was going on.
I mean, it is confusing, but
I've not even seen
so,
it, so.
so good. It's quite sort of sci-fi. Is what you say, sci-fi?
Yeah, sci-fi.
Yeah,
Sort
yeah.
of, it was giving Star Wars-y vibes and
it's
stuff like that, but
so
it was
good.
almost... I was a bit out of the loop.
However, and it's side quest again. Dune Prophecy, the series on Sky Atlantic, no, it's a big no. But the films, 100%.
So now we're just like calling people out on the work.
Yeah.
If Sky
live
Atlantic
on
are
air.
tuning in and
Yeah.
they bring us to a lawsuit, we'll hope for the best.
Bring it on.
Yeah, it wasn't me. I've not seen it.
Right, so going back to the grape goals,
Yes.
we actually haven't even said what the grape goals are.
So, for anybody that doesn't know, Grape Goals happens at midnight on New Year's Eve. So, well, no.
Yeah.
It is New Year's Eve, but obviously New Year's Day. So you get 1 minute to eat 12 grapes. And between 12 and 12:01. And with every grape that you eat, you have to make a wish.
Or a
And
goal.
Yeah, but apparently, whoever made this up suggested that if you do it under a table or bench, like
Or
Alice.
bench. If there's
Yeah.
no tables around.
There's no table
or bench.
around. Anything wooden. Might work.
I was just going to say, yeah, that's very specific. Does it have to be wooden?
I don't know. Maybe it's... Well, I don't know. I did it on a glass table this
It
year.
was
Okay.
a wooden bench.
Was it?
It was it's an outdoor bench, actually, if we really want to go into it. A wooden outdoor bench.
Well, I did it under a glass table indoors this year, so I'll let you know next year to see how it went.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you eat your grapes really quickly while making a wish or saying your goals, and you get to do 12 of them, and you've got to do it within a minute under a table or bench. And yeah, so if anyone's done that, we would definitely love to know. We'd love to hear all about it. And Charlene's going to talk about her grape goals from 2024. Would you say 3 or 4?
Last year.
Why was we both so confused?
I don't
then?
know. Sort of last, not this one, just gone. the
Not
one
this one,
before.
just gone.
Right, so my grape goals. So this year, my grape goals and my letter to future self are both the same.
I thought you were going to say letter to Santa then. I don't know why. I was like, eh? And then I was like, oh no, I did
Don't
that
diss
letter
Santa.
too.
Santa's
I'm not,
real.
definitely not.
No. For all you believers out there. Anyway, so last year my grape goals were quite generic, whereas my letter to myself was very specific. So the grape goals didn't sort of, came to fruition. Pardon the pun.
I was having a drink when you said that. That was absolutely
dear.
the
Do you
cheese,
know, we
one of the
just-
cheesiest things.
Do you know when we said we just like laughed at our own jokes?
That was one of them.
Anyway, so the letter that I did, and I think we did talk about this one off air, was actually getting my own place. And those who know me really well, I am not a planner, and it was very much that this time last year it was like didn't see any way of being able to do it. But I did it anyway, and we were talking actually about risk taking and how that sort of feeds into. So it all feeds into sort of the manifest, and is it, like Ewan said, is it entrepreneurial?
That's it, yeah.
And I can't say that word. As part of that, and the fact that it's sort of, but then with all Vicky and I say, it's like if it's meant to be, it'll be, but the universe will make sure it happens. And this happened before Christmas with, the car, God, I can't speak, the whole car situation.
Yeah.
I was without a car just before Christmas, and then Vicky was like, you can borrow my auntie's car. Now I have a car again, temporarily.
So I'm literally like Superwoman.
You are like Super. You are like my fairy godmother.
that is it. That's who I am.
But it's just that, when the universe just came through at that moment in time, and I've just given up my job. So I've handed in my notice. I have given everybody at work anxiety because everyone said, how are you going to financially survive? And I'm just said, I've no idea. But I'll find a way.
Well, manifest it.
Manifest it and take a risk.
Where there's a will, there's a way.
That's it. Hard work, determination, and maybe a little bit of manifesting.
So I'm going to be really honest. I've completely forgotten what my great goals were from last year. But I do know that when I was reading, I was like, oh yeah, I accomplished that. And I did put most of my great goals on my vision board. And I think one of them was for us to be a guest speaker and talk about our research, which we have actually done.
We did twice.
Yeah, we did twice. And that was actually a picture of two random people that you can see from behind talking to an audience of people. And another one of my great goals was to take my kids to Disneyland, which I did. So as you all heard about it a lot. So so it was nice actually taking my vision board down when I was moving house and seeing. I was like, I need to redo this because I've done that. So I knew I wouldn't do them all because my vision board was kind of like a 5-year vision rather than a 1 year, but it had incorporated a lot of my 1-year plans. So I think that was nice visual to see actually, but I do need to build 2025's I can't even speak. 2025's vision board needs building going forward to incorporate this year's great goals, which I do know because I saved on my phone. And I've written my letter to myself. So my letter to myself actually, so we read that on we was going to read them live on air, but we ended up not doing the first show on the 3rd of January what we expected. So we did them on the phone, didn't we, to each other, and we read them out. And we was like, oh my God, we've done it. We've actually done all the things that was in that letter, which was really cool. And it was also really cool because I'm a nosy person, and how I spent a full year with that in my bag and not read it was just amazing. That was an accomplishment on its own. But to then read it a year later and be like, actually, yeah, we did all them things. We did the URSS. We have presented the research in different places. We have got it out into schools. We have developed our own system. We have begun to do the board game. We've seen a social impact. And this year, I will say the first one of the goals that's on my great goals is to get us all to Bangkok.
Oh, wow.
And, so if we can manifest that right now with all of us, like, more energy, the better.
We should probably explain that one,
actually.
Let's explain that.
You go for it, Ewan. So I was about to say
so as part of being involved within Enactus is we get to pitch our projects at the end of the year against each other. With all the universities involved, this goes to a final expo in London where the semi-final and then final is hosted. So it's 16 in the semi-final, 4 in the final, and then the finals. The winner of the finals goes on to represent Enactus UK and Ireland in the Enactus World Cup, which is hosted in Bangkok. Hence why we want that journey for ourselves, because we want to be the best Enactus team in the country.
100%.
Can I just give a shout out to Kira, who's just messaged literally as you was talking and said, Bangkok, let's go, with like loads of zeros on the end. So I'm going to ask her to start manifesting that with us, because you are coming and we will all be there. And we are going to make it happen. So, Kira, get manifesting.
So that'll be the 27th and 28th of September.
Yeah.
2025.
It's already booking it off just in case.
Yeah.
That's it.
Book your apartment.
There you go. If you book it off work, we have to be there then. That's it.
That's it. You've got to go.
Just plan it round. Well, do you know what? Because this is what Vicky also does, is that soon, or which is it with Comic Con. So as soon as we went to a convention last August for the Love of Fantasy, where we again met Ian Somerhalder again. I
feel like she's resentful of that.
Not
at
all.
I'm just kidding.
I can't say he is. It's very.
Do you know, for all the Ian Somerhalder fans out there, we're just going to put this out there that so many people want to meet him, and Charlene has like just met him 3 times for no reason. There's going to be so many people that would like to be in your place that have
daughter. My
yeah.
daughter. Yeah.
So a daughter is absolutely mortified that Charlene's met Ian, and she hasn't, and she like is a because the Vampire Diaries has done like a whole. It's done a whole like U-turn. Is it a U-turn or like it's been recycled with the next generation basically? And it's wild when you see them at Comic-Con because do you know like that thing when you see pop stars and all these like fans like imagine like One Direction. Yeah.
And these are like
they can't even
men
go
in their
to-
40s.
They can't even go to the toilet. Like they had a toilet break.
I have a good story with this actually. We so I was with Red Bull and I went to flight school, which is like a couple of days training with them, and we were in London at the time. And does anybody know has anyone ever watched Money Heist on Netflix?
I have, but not a lot of it. I've watched a few episodes.
So the head lead from Moneycast was exiting the building, and I mean I'd recognise his face, and I'd be like, oh, that's cool. But people were relentlessly diving over each other to get photos and going absolutely mental. But even like my co-workers were like rushing to get to the front, and have a watch, and then the rest of us are like.
I'm just going to throw it
I
out
reckon
there.
the queue at Taco Bell's like, Shorten, let's go get some scanning.
I was actually thinking of you and Red Bull the other day because I follow Paul Wesley, obviously, on Instagram, and he was at a Red Bull event. So I was like, oh my God, if that happens ever again and you're there, you need to tell me to be there.
Well, I'm not that involved with him. I'm not that involved, but
I think you'd be like,
yeah,
I'm quite
but you would
oblivious.
see it.
Yeah.
I'm oblivious to a lot of these
I
people.
would probably be slightly oblivious as to
Yeah,
what's going on. Yeah,
I am. But the whole point of what I was getting at is that you pre-book everything.
Yeah,
so
I do.
we're already booked into the hotel for this August. As soon as we finished the event last August, so this is what you need to do.
Yeah.
I'm setting set it.
It is kind of like a goal because like you go on booking.com and I'm like, right, we want to go to this event, I'm going to book the hotel. And we did it on affordability as well. We was like, well, if we can't afford it, we'll just have to cancel. But every time we've ended up going. So I'm like putting it out there, book my hotel, I'm going.
Yeah,
like,
well, you did it for an Actors, didn't we? We've
Yeah.
got hotels booked
Yeah,
as
it's all
if
nice
we're already
hotel
there
as well.
at the semi-finals, which
Yeah.
is, well, we will.
we're going to the finals.
We will.
So we're
I
definitely
definitely think we'll be there for the semi-finals, mainly because we
We're going to be there
worked
for
hard.
We're going
be
to
there.
the absolute top,
Yeah.
Ewan.
I'm just
We'll
going to give
we'll dream
another
big.
shout
We'll
out. So
dream
I just had a
big.
message on actually it's WhatsApp, not Instagram. So a friend of mine, Donna, she has her own estate agents, and she's just messaged and said she'll book our apartments for Bangkok.
I can only apologise to the listeners out there. I'm extremely apologetic.
There'll be no banging of the cocks.
Okay, still,
Should we
I
just
can
call
only
it
apologise
Thailand?
to the listeners out there. Because we've done that thing where we go on a tangent here, so I'm gonna try and rein this back in.
Thank you, Donna.
Yeah, but she said it's free cancellation, and she's just sent me a lot of laughing faces. So
Oh,
would be-
that's
that would
amazing.
be
we will
fantastic.
appreciate that, and we will
Yeah.
definitely be booking them because we are going to manifest it, and we're going to go to Thailand. That's what we're going to call it from now on.
Yes, yes.
I think so. That's a good idea.
Yeah, I think so.
Does it sound weird?
It sounds weird because you can't say it.
I can say it. I feel like
Please
really...
don't continue to
yeah.
try though.
No.
Yeah, we will go with Thailand from now on.
Anyway, we'll move back to manifesting.
Yeah, I do have a story where I've visualized or manifested. So as I mentioned, I play a lot of team sport and I play for the university's lacrosse team. Shout out to University of Derby Lacrosse. Thank you very much.
I hope you're all listening.
Yeah, hopefully one or two are listening. So I visualize or I try and sort of dream big when I've got like a big game coming up, or for example, we have DMU coming up. DMU have always kind of been a bit of a rivalry there. It's a good opportunity for us to score. So I'm sort of visualizing myself within that position and scoring that goal. And it's happened. It happened last year. I kind of visualized myself scoring against Leicester, and I scored against Leicester, and I had that moment. So whether that was writing it down on paper, I never did. It was kind of just in my head of that's how cool would that be if I go and score the winning goal? How cool would it be if I go and score a hat trick? That would be fantastic. So it's kind of having that mindset when I come into certain games, but then I know that there's the hard work that comes alongside with that, because I can't just score 3 goals without running. I've got to put the work in. Can't just stand there and hope he's going to hit me and go in.
Hope for the best.
So I feel like my mentality towards manifesting kind of aligns with that. I've always been in that team sport environment where it's like you've got to put the work in to get that result. So I can manifest and I can dream that we'll do well and we'll score or the team will win, but it comes with the hard work that comes alongside that. So I think it's, you know, when we get together and we have our sort of team talks, it's we may get beat today, but if we work hard, we go away and we're proud that we've worked hard. And you can work hard, but if you don't reach that goal, at least you know that you've put the effort in, you've done everything that you can do, and you can say, well, I left it all out there. There's nothing more I could have done. It just wasn't meant to be.
That's true. And I think sometimes actual, I don't want to say failure, but, you know, when you don't do as well as you expected, you just use it as a learning opportunity.
Exactly.
I've heard that saying. So you don't fail, you either win or learn.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So that's a really good way to look at it.
And people fail all the time. I mean, I look at Enactus
Fail
this
forward.
year, and exactly we've had our failures, we've had all sorts of, you know, setbacks and things like that, and even within everyone's aspect of academics and their jobs outside of it, you're never going to have smooth sailing. You're always going to have those times where it doesn't really work out how you want it to, and it's how you respond to that with, okay, well, that's just a learning curve. It's just another opportunity to grow. So that's where, for me, manifesting, you've got to fail.
Yeah.
You've got to fail. If you have manifested everything to go well and it always did, how are you learning?
Completely agree. That got very deep.
It's very
It did get, yeah. Well, there you are.
Very philosophical.
I said philosophy. You said philosophy.
I wanted to say philosophical.
Is the word that we was looking for.
Yeah. That's
So
it.
apparently on a Friday night between 5 and 7, me and Charlene forget to speak properly.
Which is ironic, since they were on the radio.
So when we was testing the mics, that's actually what Ewan said, because Sky was like, we need to test the mics now, and can you talk? And I was like, and he's like, so the one time you're asked to talk, you find it difficult. Yeah, the rest of the time, you don't stop talking. I was like, I don't know how or why that happened. So anyway, going back to manifesting, I have got another celebrity story.
I'm just thinking we haven't had a song for a while. That was all.
I know. Well, we've got 1 minute before one starts, so I was just going to move into another celebrity manifesting story just before we transition into a song. So we all know Arnold Schwarzenegger. We do. Everybody does. I'm sure they do. So apparently he visualised his success, and he credits visualisation for his incredible achievements. So apparently Arnold used to be a bodybuilder, and he visualised himself winning competitions. Later, he imagined himself as a successful Hollywood actor. And even when people doubted him due to his accent and his physique, his focus and belief helped him believe in fame and how he could achieve it. And later he pursued a career in the movies, and then he again used that ability of manifesting a visualization to start a career in politics. And then he went on, is he the governor of California now?
Or was. I don't know if he still
Well,
is.
he might not be now, but he did.
Yeah.
And apparently he puts all that down to visualizing and manifesting. So another cool celebrity manifesting achievement success. You've had one become a governor and one get £10 million. I think I'd rather 10 million, to be honest. I'm just going to throw that out there, manifesting that
I think
one.
he made a lot of money along the way.
I'm sure he
I think
did.
Arnold probably made that 10 million.
Yeah.
And then some. That's
And
probably what paid
some.
for him to be a governor, to be honest, because
Yeah.
you have to pay for all your politics in America, don't you?
Right, we're going to move into a song, and then we'll be back shortly with some more manifesting stories. I will see you soon.
Oh man, that was a lot of talk.
Hello, we're back, and we think we've covered the manifesting conversations this evening, and we're going to move into, we mentioned before we went off about failing forward and how that's got like a, I don't know, I think it sits quite heavily with manifesting. What do you guys think?
Yeah, definitely. Well, not necessarily manifesting, but that learn of hard working and having that hard work, and not always, you can work hard, but you're not always going to win, sort of thing. So that opportunity to learn from losing out sometimes, and the fact that every opportunity to do something, whether it works out or doesn't, is a bit of a blessing in disguise, because you get the opportunity to learn, or you have that success.
I think that also ties in with risk taking as well, and I think actually fear of failure is huge as to why people don't take risk, and sort of sit in that in between. I don't want to say comfort, because it's not always comfort.
Well, they do say, don't they, that nothing good happens in your comfort zone, and maybe that sits with the fact that, like you say, if people don't take risks and if you're not failing, does it mean you're not trying? Because maybe. And as we spoke about this actually before we came back on the air, we was like, oh, have we got any like fail forward success stories? And Ewan was like, actually, yeah, we've all got the same one.
Yeah, we all failed as a group before.
Yeah,
so.
we failed. I don't want to say epically, because I don't think we failed epically at all. But
significantly,
we failed.
We
nevertheless.
expected to be in the top 10, and we weren't.
Yeah.
Alf, you just say what it is.
Well, Pitch Perfect.
Yeah.
Is that what you mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know what you want me to say here.
So just give context to what we're talking about.
Yeah, so there's a competition that runs throughout the university, which is called Pitch Perfect. Not Picture Perfect, Pitch.
Not the singing either.
And it's definitely not singing. We've done that, but definitely not in a competition.
Yeah.
I'd
hope not. I'd hope not for everybody else out there.
Everybody else
we will not be singing.
Oh my goodness me, we would make some great bad X Factor auditions.
Absolutely. I can imagine turning up at the Access World Final like, hello. They'd kick us out.
That's just somebody.
Yeah. If Daniel was here, he could vouch for us, and that'd be a really good moment for me and Charlene.
We were
However,
let me just say, we were living our best pop star life at that moment in time.
Like
I mean, horrendous.
If we can channel some of that confidence and that energy that we had in that moment,
to pitch for an actress,
we've already won.
There you go. Exactly.
I'm not even joking.
Although I think the liquid confidence that came along with karaoke on that evening might not be readily available or advised before pitching.
Is that?
There is that too. So
yeah,
anyway,
but Pitch Perfect anyway is a competition that runs throughout the university, and I'll just advocate for it for a little minute. So you can apply for it. You can apply to be part of it while you're a student, and for, is it 3 years after?
Yeah.
So 3 years after you've left the university, and you can go do a pitch for your business, and it's kind of like a little bit of a Dragon's Den format. Unfortunately, there's only one winner, and that winner wasn't any of us. So Charlene and I did it, Ewan did it, and Daniel, our other project, did it. We didn't win on that day, but I think for us, and obviously I can't speak for Ewan because you did yours by yourself because you did Botso and we did Roll Resolve, but for us, we got a lot of good feedback, and we really did. There was, I think of his surname, but one of the judges who was
Paul Paley.
Yeah, one of the judges, he was like, he said we had one of the best business models. He gave us some really good pointers, and then on the flip side of that, we got a really good critique as well. One thing that we're counselling students, and we do engage with a lot of people. And I'm looking at Ewan because he'll vouch for us on that. We talk to a lot of people.
Absolutely everybody. Yeah. Seem to know anyone and everybody I've come across this far at the uni. Know who you guys are. Take that as you will, sort of.
We're well known.
And the university is a big place. But we do, and we connect with people, and it's part of who we are. And I think being our first pitch and being timed, and anyone listening knows that we go off on tangents and we go off on a few
side quests.
Yeah, a few little journeys of our own along the way of a conversation. However, being timed in a pitch, I thought we found really difficult, and it was really good for us to get that practice because we had to stick to a script, even though what they actually wanted for us not to stick to a script because they wanted us to be more ourselves. But to be more of ourselves would not have made the 5 minutes that they gave us. So for us, learning how to do that and finding a balance was a really good, it's something that we really needed to do to get us to where we are now in Enactus. And if we'd have failed that and been like, oh my God, pitching isn't for us, we wouldn't be in a position now to be, we're doing Enactus and Ingenuity as well. And I think we have to do it a couple of times in order to get it right. So
that's true. So Ingenuity is like the step up from Enactus in terms of a money pot. So this is run by the University of Nottingham, and it's open to the community, really. I think it's a national programme.
I don't think it's a step up because I think some of the prize funds can be quite on par with each other.
I don't know what the prize funds are for Enactus though.
I think Ingenuity is in terms of the development of like where your business is at and the stage of it.
It is the next level.
It's at a point of
it's
making
kind of
that
open to everybody though, isn't it? Whereas Enactus is just students.
Yeah, so Ingenuity is nationwide and it's open to anybody, whether you're a student, ex-student, local business person.
And you get all the benefits as well that we get with Enactus. So you get the
mentoring.
Yeah, you get the mentoring and you get all the support on building your pitch. And it's a really good opportunity for people who aren't in university or they might not even have a background in education, but they might have an amazing business plan that they want to go and put forward. But for us, having done Pitch Perfect and being a part of like Enterprise has given us that like foundation to be like, actually, it's okay. You know, we didn't win that one, but it doesn't mean that we won't win the next one. And we'll be at Enterprise doing that Pitch Perfect until we've graduated, and probably 3 years after, just until we win.
I think that's a fantastic mentality.
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
But I think actually sort of failing, and I put in like inverted commas, is sort of getting that critique. Well, I'd rather fail at that point than fail with Enactus because we want to go all the way, and also definitely for Ingenuity because that is actual hard cash that we're going to be competing for, which we really, really do need for our business.
I think it's a beautiful opportunity to sort of practice his Pitch Perfect, and it's how I first entered sort of the world of Enterprise and got to know and establish myself here at the university. Is the first time I ever sort of did anything outside of my degree was entering Pitch Perfect in my first year. Yeah, so it was like the first sort of steps that I took on my own journey here in Derby to sort of take me on the path that I took, and I'd probably put it down as the best failure I've made in the last 2 years was coming second in that competition, because it really brought a fire out in me to think, do you know what, I was that close, but it's all the successes that come after it in terms of getting to know Oliver and then being able to work in that Enterprise team, and then the chain events from that are massive in terms of my Red Bull job that I've got. It built up my skill set for that. The placement that I just achieved, I was working for the Enterprise Centre when I first got the contact to be on the panel to meet James, who's the CEO of the placement where I'm going next year. So it is without doubt the best failure I ever made was entering that competition, and by no means did I expect to win it, because I was a first year student that was a little bit scared, a little bit nervous as to what was going on, but go out there and fail. And I think it is something that really needs to be taught, especially to first years when they come to universities. Fail and fail and fail and fail again, because eventually something might just go right, and if something goes right once, then that's better than never even trying to reaching out in the first place.
Absolutely.
And that is the beauty of first year, and I wish I could go back and experience it again, but then at the same time I don't, because I'm so happy with where I am now. And first year is really harness that opportunity, go out there, join a sport, join a society, join a Pitch Perfect competition, and fail, because you never know what could happen. You could even succeed, and how amazing would that be to be succeeding in first year? But go out there and do it.
No, I think that's a really good concept, to be honest. So I can speak again for both of us when I say this, because joining a society wasn't on my things to do when I came to university. Like, as a mature student, it wasn't something that I thought I would be doing, because past
time.
Yeah, time. We're older, we've got children. I was working, Charlene.
was working.
is
working.
was on the brink.
Still working.
of working. But time basically wasn't some. I didn't feel like societies would be for me, and it's not even something that I contemplated, to be honest. And again, it was going to enterprise, and Oliver, like, we went with this business plan that we'd like come up with, and we were like, right, this is what we've got. We spoke to Careers said come to enterprise, and Oliver's like, right, you're doing Pitch Perfect, you're speaking to you, and you're going in an Actors, you're going to Ingenuity, you're doing this, and I was like, okay. I think it's the first time we've ever been silent in our life, and we was like, right then, we're doing all these things. Like, where do we go with this?
All I remember at the time was he said presentation a lot, and all I can remember is the fact that, I mean, bearing in mind I have an extensive work history of presenting. I hate presenting. I can't even begin to tell you how much and it's like pitching. Honestly, it's my worst nightmare. And this is like sort of that fake confidence thing, is that honestly I can't describe the anxiety I have. I'm going to liken it must be like stage fright. That's what it must be.
I think it is like stage fright.
It is. I have all the nerves. And I would just remember Oliver saying all these things that we had to do. And then on top of that, then we was asked to be guest speakers at Ian's event. So we had a lot in a very short space of time.
And we did, didn't we? So we had like, Oliver had said all these presentation this, presentation that, pitch this, pitch that. And then we was like, Ian had said, can you come and come and speak at his event, which was tabletop role play in higher education, in research, sorry. And then we knew we had to present the URSS, which is our own research. And then it was like, how many presentations do we actually have to do? And like, so we was constantly like just bang, 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 weren't we? And
I think it's those sort of, when we talked, so when we did and this sort of goes back with sort of, you know, fear of failure and imposter syndrome. So when we did the talk at the tabletop research event, so we were so a lot of people there were either academics, PhD students. So we were the only undergrads.
There wasn't even anyone like postgrad. It was all like academics, professors, or PhD.
They're all sort of so straight away all the imposter syndrome.
Like year 2.
Yeah.
Well, year 5 for anyone. Well, level 5, however you want to call it. Yeah.
Yes. And it was very much just like, are they going to take us seriously? Are we going to do we look like we know what we're talking about? And it was very much, and it's trying to reframe, so going back to mindset as well, reframe either the fear of failure. That's a lot of F's.
It was, yeah.
There's
a big one.
But I think that's what it is, because I know that we always do it. So this is the thing. We always do it, and we know we do it.
Yeah.
And we always smash it.
And I think doing Ian's we was like afterwards, just like, oh my God, did we do well? Did we do this? Did we do that? Did we do that right? Did we say that right? Did we say enough? And it was like, and it was really weird because like, it was online, so it was remote, and we were sat in a classroom. And I remember one of our other supervisors, Alex, who had come to see us. I can't remember what that was for, but there was a reason behind that. And he came in and he said, I'll be at the room in a minute.
I think he was just being our cheerleader.
Yeah. And as he was coming up to the room, we were like, oh my God, he's going to be sat watching us. And do you know what? He walked in the room and we was like thinking he's going to create, not him because he's lovely, but we would feel more anxious because he was present. And do you know what? He walked in the room and he was literally the cheerleader that we needed that day. And he was like, you're amazing. You've got this. And we was like, not trying to be something that we're not. And he was like, just put it away, talk about it, how you need to talk about it, and just be yourselves. So we did. we just did it like that. And we was like, we took a risk by doing it, thinking what we was thinking at the time. But then after we'd done it, and we'd done it the way we wanted to, rather than being really academic, we still obviously had to be academic, but we added a lot of ourselves into that presentation. And then afterwards, there was like other academics who was like, oh, I would work with you on a project. Oh yeah, have you got any supervisors for your MRes? Have you got any supervisors for your PhD? And then when we went to do the presentation at the URSS, they were like, use the same presentation as you did at the other event. And we spoke to Chris, didn't we? Because we was like, well, I think the presentation at the URSS has to focus on the results from the research. And he was like, no, do it like that. This is your story. You do it how you want. And then we got to present it again, how we did it. And we was like, we didn't want to do it like that. And just because we did and everyone liked it, that was like a lesson to us a little bit as well. Is like, actually, yeah, just be yourself, because
go out there
that's
and
who we
try
are.
it.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the mentality that you've got to have, is just go and try things, you know. And as I said, like with first years and my experience as a first year and going out and trying different things, trying the enterprise team and what have you, it kind of, to simplify it, like, shout out to my mother and father, you know, when I came
let's just stop,
yeah, of course.
Happy birthday,
Yes.
Mia.
Yes,
Happy birthday.
Mum. I'll be with you back home soon. But like
Yeah.
my mum and dad, you know, I might say I don't like a food. Well, have you tried it? We'll try it then. And then if you don't like it once, well, you got to try it 50 times before you know whether you like it or not. Maybe not 50 times, but to that extent, if I know I don't like something, I'm not going to eat it again.
Yeah.
But at least I've tried it, sort of thing. So I think you can take that aspect and put that into different things. Well, try lacrosse. Have you tried lacrosse before? No, I haven't. Well, you might enjoy it. It might be your thing.
Yeah.
And I was lucky. It was my thing. You know, but have I tried volleyball before? Have you tried basketball? Have you tried pitching before? And all these different things. And first year, you've got all of that time on your hands, which is the beauty of it, to go out there and try those things. And that's why, as a first year, when I was doing the things that I was doing, I didn't really have imposter syndrome necessarily, because I thought, well, this is what I'm here for. I mean, I've got the time to learn.
Yeah.
And people appreciate the fact that I'm here. Not many other people are here, so people will probably value my opinion as a first year, or as a mature student. People are going to value your opinions, because there's not many mature students out there in your field, so you get that opportunity to share your values and share your opinions.
I was just thinking, while you were speaking, I was thinking, me and Charlene had never played D&D before. We'd never played tabletop roleplay before we came up with the idea that we've got. And we're still to play a full campaign, which lasts for, you know, like a long period of time. We've played, we got to go to D&D in a castle, and we did like a day campaign there, which was amazing. And we've done like some like bits of it within the university, and we've done campaigns where we've been the DM. But you know, when we started, we were like, oh my god, we have to be a DM, we have to do this. What if we don't do it? What if we can't do it? What if we're rubbish? What if we're this? What if people don't like us? What if we're not engaging? And we had all the what ifs. And we went into the first school, and I think you made me do it that day, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
She was like, you do it, all the way there. I was like, right, whatever, I'll do it. And now we love it. We walk in, it's like, it's my turn to do it today, and it's like, and we just do. We just get on with it.
And that's all because you tried it as well.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of it. I think just that opportunity to try it, go for it, take that first step, because you never know what it leads to.
Exactly.
And you found, and it's fantastic to, like, as I met you guys and I've got to know you, the passion that you guys have towards what you're working on, and that's why you've been so successful over the last year. And that's kind of my argument against manifesting, is you guys, it's passion, it's hard work, and it's dedication, and that's what you put it down to, and that's all created within yourself, not within the universe, not within the stars.
It is, but we do manifest as well.
I think
it's belief in ourselves that comes from it.
I think that's it. I think the self-belief is a lot. I think you're more of a manifester than I am. I think I would say I'm a lot more goal-driven. But then it all ties in together. So I think it's like a, you know, did you ever, this is like side quest, do you know you used to get opal fruit? It's not called Starburst. It used to be opal fruit.
Love a good Starburst then. Love a good Starburst.
Right, so you used to get Starburst, take them all out the wrappers, make them all warm, and then squish them into a big ball together. That's what manifesting and goals and all that sort of thing is. It's a ball of Starburst.
That is the craziest metaphor.
I don't even know how to process
Who's
that.
got the effort to unwrap every single
How is that
Starburst
manifesting?
as well?
It's
Can you
not
elaborate?
It's not manifesting. I'm talking about, you squidge, you take all these elements and you squish them.
That makes more sense now. You've
right,
explained
okay.
it a
like
little
a
bit.
molecule. Do you know when you see
Yes.
those like those 3D things of molecules? It's all those bits and pieces all stuck together.
Yeah.
I just want to say,
Fancy Starburst.
Daniel said opal fruits. Charlene, you're showing your age.
I'd love a Starburst now. You got me fancying a Starburst.
They're nice though, aren't they?
I had a
yeah.
pink one this morning on the way, ironically.
Did
Maybe I
you?
manifested this conversation by eating
Maybe
that
you did.
Starburst.
Maybe
Who
you
knows?
did. Also, Daniel, you're showing your age as well. I mean, you're not even significantly younger than me.
And you knew.
And
you
you
knew
knew.
what it was.
Yeah, but thanks for showing me up though.
So before we transition into another song, and we take a little bit of a drink break because I don't know, I get very dry in here when we're talking.
Because we talk a lot.
That's true. I've got some failing forward success stories by some well-known people. So I'm going to just say 3 of them, which I'm sure we all know these people. So there's one, which is Walt Disney, who was actually fired for lacking imagination.
Well, there you go.
And then went on to create, obviously, Disney World. Then there's J.K. Rowling, who was rejected by multiple publishers before Harry Potter became a global phenomenon. And then Michael Jordan, who actually got cut from his high school basketball team, only to become, well, one of the world's greatest athletes ever.
Yeah.
So, talk about failing forward on an epic level.
But then I said, do you know Dragon's Den? Do you know Peter, the really tall one? I can never remember what his surname is. Do you know who I mean?
I
on
keep
Dragon's
thinking
Den?
it's a B. Is it a B? Is it
I don't know. Right, so you know who I mean. So I think he went bankrupt at least once, if not twice, and then
I
is
think
still
that money mindset. Because I've done a thing on that's a whole other story.
that is a whole other story. Anyway, so he is a millionaire again. So he sort of took it back to the obviously beginning because he was bankrupt, but then built up his empires all over again. And that is literally failing forward in business.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think Michael Jordan one is really more powerful. I watched The Last Dance. I watched that, and that was amazing. Just from any person's perspective, how inspiring he is and the mentality that he carries. He visualizes. It's quite interesting actually. He visualizes, but in a very more menacing way. Of he visualizes his opponents and he creates these sort of stories about opponents to hate them more, to motivate him more. They're completely false.
That's very aggressive.
Yeah, exactly. But that's what he needed to push himself.
I suppose that motivates him then to want to win.
To want to win,
Yeah.
but not just win, but to embarrass and to really beat his opponent.
Showing like his
not just physically,
dark
but
side,
mentally.
isn't it?
Yeah, that is very
And
dark.
that is dark. But
think
that's
he
what it
needs
took
to do,
for him to become the best.
Oh,
Do
do
Yeah.
some shadow work.
Maybe he does. I think he needs to
Literally.
make a little bit
But it's
self-awareness.
really interesting, really interesting documentary. It goes into it quite a lot. Definitely worth watching. The Last Dance.
The Last Dance. See, do you know when you said The Last Dance? I wasn't thinking of that. I was thinking of, do you know that rom-com with oh no, I forgot her name.
Save the Last Dance.
Save the Last Dance. That's what I was thinking
love
of.
that
I love
film.
that film too.
Have you seen that one?
I haven't seen that one, I'm afraid.
Quite
I'm
old.
sorry. Is it quite?
It's brilliant.
Right, yeah.
Oldie but a goldie, we'll say.
Oldie but a goldie.
Do you know what though? I don't even see it as an oldie. Like when I think oldie, I think like Grease or Dirty Dancing.
Vicky, it's old.
It is old. It's not Dirty Dancing old though. Is it Dirty Dancing old? I don't
No.
think it is. No.
Hasn't Dirty Dancing... Sorry, side quest. Is Dirty Dancing in the 80s?
I think so.
Yeah, so that is old.
So Dirty Dancing's not. I mean, Save the Last Dance isn't Dirty Dancing old.
90s.
Yeah.
Still quite.
That's old.
No, it wasn't
For
old.
Ewan, it's old.
It's older than
No.
me,
It's
yeah.
older than...
It was only last year.
5 years ago.
Yeah. Honestly, when I think about when I left school, I don't see it as that long. No.
Yes.
I refuse to believe it was more than 10 years ago.
I'm not even going to go there. Do you know
It was
what?
actually
It's my
26.
birthday. I'm just going to put it out there. It's my birthday on the 7th of February. So I'm going to have a birthday show.
Oh, there
I
you go.
know. How cool is
We'll
Yeah.
have to have people listening in for that one. Then.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
Only
get your
knows
friends.
the chaos that can ensue on that day.
Wow.
So self-indulgent.
Who knows?
Self-indulgent day, that is.
Because she had all these songs last night. I was like, no, we're not playing that. No, we're not playing that. She was like, you just wait till the 7th. Self-indulgent evening with Charlene.
Absolutely. It's going to be my playlist.
So there you go. She's putting it out there. If you want to join in and hear all about Charlene, the 7th of February is the night to tune in.
The origin story of Charlene. There you go.
So we're going to move into some music and we will be back shortly. Hello. So we've got 10 minutes left of tonight's show. Before we move into like finishing off and coming to an end, we just want to say another quick happy birthday to Ewan's mum Mia, who we hope has had the most amazing day. And we'd just like to say, with Ewan's permission, that his mum has requested that she is manifesting Ewan's coming home soon, which I'm sure she's really, really missing him and can't wait to see him.
Yeah, I'll make the journey this evening. I'll be back home with you soon, Mum. There you go.
That's nice.
Anyways, enough of that. We'll swiftly move on.
That's cute.
And so we were talking about resilience, weren't we? And sort of facing adversity and how we learn from our mistakes. And
yeah, we was.
Yeah, and I thought I'd share one of my stories in terms of how I've dealt with that failures. You know, I think in particular I always use team sport as my example because I've learned a lot throughout football in particular in my life and the lessons learnt along that way. And I think resilience within that is one thing that's really stood out to me, and that's because when I was younger, I played for my local team, Driffield, and had to then make the decision whether I was going to really try and pursue my football career and see if I could push and try and do bigger and better things and move to Hull, which is where all the footballers tend to be, or whether to sort of stay at home and play for my local team. And when I made that decision, it was difficult, but it was because I wanted to achieve more within my career and I had aspirations to play for county. So I went to county trials when I was younger and I failed a couple of times, and that was hard to then pick myself back up and really put myself back out there to try and work hard to go back to county football. And bless my dad, always there to travel miles and miles with me and said, like, let's do it, let's go for it and make that transition towards teams in Hull. And so I did that and eventually achieved that goal of playing for my county, and that was the best ever football and probably the best memories I ever made. And certainly the best lessons I've ever learnt was being able to play for my county and represent East Yorkshire and go out there and play some fantastic football. But that was a resilient story of, you know, it didn't happen overnight. It happened with a lot of failures along the way, and as I say, that resilience to pick myself back up and do those 45-minute journeys that were quite difficult sometimes. But I mean, me and my dad would always have a podcast and radio show of our own on the way back. But it was always it was fantastic in terms of building my character and building that resilience of my own. So I think that's my story in terms of resilience.
I love that.
Do you know what? You took the words right out of my mouth. I was literally thinking, I love that. 'Cause I love, and with resilience, it comes hand in hand, doesn't it, with like failure and, you know, and then, you know, you move on. Yeah, literally. You move on from that onto like your manifesting and your mindset. So I think we have to start with that failure side of it, don't we? And having resilience to be able to fail forward, it does come hand in hand together. And as you've heard, we've all failed forward in this room over the last couple of months, and it's paid off. You know, it's got us to where we are today. Imposter syndrome has literally been something that we've all overcome, which again sits with resilience. And I don't know, have you got any more stories that you wanted to add about resilience? I know for me I have, but I'll let you go first.
No, probably, but I don't know if it's sort of not career. I'm trying to think if it's career. No, actually, yeah. So I used to work in sales, and I worked for a company that I was really, really unsure actually about working for in the first place. And then when I was working there, I really wanted to leave. I hated it with a passion. But I'd signed a golden handshake. So basically they paid a bonus up front for me joining. And so I was tied in for a year. And I hated it. And my boss actually was phenomenal. And he was really supportive in a very non-directive way. And I got to the point where actually I found my feet. It was a really, really big company, and they were very, very hard-nosed. I mean, ironically, I worked in sales, but I was like the least salesy person ever. I'm like really honest, really honest, all about the relationship building. I didn't, I would never step on anybody else I don't believe in it. I don't think you have to be ruthless to succeed. No. I just don't. And so anyway, I found my feet, and there was a whole management change, and they made my boss redundant after 16 years, like out of nowhere. And I was like, I was on target to achieve every single goal that had been set, and they sacked me. I know. And because I wouldn't say anything bad about my boss, because it was very political, and I wouldn't do it. And so I remember I was honestly, because it's the first time it's ever happened to me, and they made me I had to meet this guy in Northampton in this hotel lobby. And lobby? Is it a lobby? Yeah. And I thought it was going through.
Sounds really dodgy.
It's like it was a holiday inn or something like that. It's not Pretty Woman.
I was just checking.
I sold lighting. I wasn't specific. I didn't specify what sales.
So you said sales and hotel lobby, and I'm like,
right. I used to sell commercial lighting in the construction industry. Let me just
we didn't doubt you. Don't worry.
No. Just say. Oh, God. Anyway, yeah, and he sort of, I had this whole thing where I thought was going to talk about admin, and he was like, no, he just came up with this absolute cock and ball story as to why. And I couldn't dispute it because I'd been there, I think it was under 2 years. So then they don't have to actually give a reason. And I was absolutely devastated.
Wow.
However, that was the start of something that it was a longer term sort of, from a resilience point of view, that really knocked my confidence massively following that. And it led to a couple of other jobs. And again, working for that old boss, and we were actually going to set up our own business together. And it came to the point where I was like, I don't want to do this. It's not my passion. It just doesn't fulfill me at all. And then I was talking to an old colleague, and sequence of events ended up coming to university. It was a bit of a now or never. So it was a long time between those things happening, but it was set off that sort of
set off like a domino effect.
Domino effect, that's
Yeah.
the word I was thinking of, yeah.
So mine's not similar to yours, but it's part of why I'm in university now. So I failed maths when I was in school, and I always put myself as, I don't get maths, I don't understand it, I don't know it, I don't want to know it, I don't want to talk about it, I don't want to focus on it, I don't like numbers. Like, literally so resistant to like anything that included numbers. And I really wanted to go and do something in education, but I tried every other thing that didn't make me have to do maths. So I actually went and did hairdressing, and I passed the course. And then I remember being in like one of the lessons when we was like doing like percentages. I was like, seriously? Like, I've been avoiding maths all my life, and now I thought I'll do hairdressing because that can't have anything to do with numbers. No, I was so wrong. Like, there's a lot of numbers when it comes to that. But I passed it and I stuck it out, and I was and that I think was my first like, I'm not going to say my first achievement because it wasn't my first achievement, but academically, even though I knew I didn't really want to be a hairdresser while I was even doing the course, I just wanted to finish it because I wanted to prove to myself that I could finish it and that I'd got that achievement and I've got a certificate, I've got a level 2, and I'd done it. And I actually got on to the next level to be a barber, because you have to have a certain level of cutting skills. And then I got on it and I was like, I don't want to do it. I've literally never done hairdressing since I actually did the course ever, like other than for like friends and family. And I'm like, it's just not for me. But I still had to get that certificate because I thought if I give up, I'm not going to do it. I'm never going to do it. I'm never going to come back to college. And then I left, never did hairdressing again. I started working from home, and then that's when I got into like the life coaching, did some direct sales. Cause I'd always worked in sales prior to going to college. And doing hairdressing, so I sort of like dabbled back into like sales, and I set up different businesses. Some of them weren't as well successful is the word that I'm looking for actually. They weren't as successful as others, and then I did really well in COVID actually, when we was in lockdown. I did exceptionally well being at home doing direct sales from home, and that's when I started to look at the life coaching. And then I wanted to come to uni, and I looked at psychotherapy, and I was really going to not come to university because I knew that I had to do maths. And I went to college and I tried everything not to get on the maths course, and I managed it and I did everything. And I spoke to my tutor and was like, actually I need to do maths because I want to go to university, and he was like, oh, it's too late now because we've already progressed within the year. And then I was like, oh, what am I going to do? And I was going to have a year out from doing my access course and go and do maths and English because I knew I wanted to come to university. And then when someone had said to me in uni, he's like, actually no, speak to the university, it's about the foundation years. And I was like, oh my God, I'm not doing that. I was mortified at the thought of it, having to spend an extra year in university because I just wanted to do the 3 years and go. And then I ended up doing foundation year to do my maths and English.
Everything happens for a reason.
And I'm not going anywhere in 3 years because now I've signed up to a postgrad and I want to do a PhD. I've done my maths and now I want to do research, which is going to be very heavily number based. And it's like, and this is coming from a person who literally despised everything about maths 4 years ago. So I think I don't know whether it's confidence or just that, I don't know, just throw myself into the fact that actually it's not that bad. It's only a couple of numbers, and I think numbers can be quite overwhelming, but actually you can actually do it. So I think having that sort of like confidence in yourself to be able to be like, actually, yeah, I can do it. Just get over yourself and just go for it.
And that resilience to keep going as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's not always easy to like study and lock in. I mean, my A-levels is an example for me. I had to be resilient to stay in the study room and not go out and talk to friends or go and play football. You got to be resilient enough to, okay, I'm staying at this desk for the next couple of hours.
That's it.
So I think resilience is something that those stories are fantastic as well. By the way, I never really got the opportunity. I was lost listening, but they were fantastic in terms of how you've both come to university and the resilience shown to do that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So yeah, well done us, guys.
Well done,
And
us.
we've come to the end of the show, unfortunately. We'd stay all night and talk because we like talking. But it's been amazing having Ewan on as well. It's
Thank you, Ewan.
No, thank you very
given
much
us
for having me.
the opportunity to talk about your project and everything that you've done in uni, which has been amazing. And it's given us the opportunity to talk about an actor. So yeah, it's been a win-win tonight. So thanks for everyone that's listened. We appreciate you, and we will see you here next Friday at 5 p.m.
Bye.
Bye now.